Welcome back to the Plus 3 Podcast, episode 5.
Has it actually been episode 5?
It's actually episode 5.
Feels like 59.
Should we double check? I'm like 90% sure this is episode 5. I set it up to be episode 5, so I really do hope it's episode 5.
It is episode 5.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I had a good feeling that it was episode 5. Welcome to episode 5, everyone.
What's the title going to be for episode 5?
I think the title for episode 5 of the Plus 3 Podcast will be episode number 5.
My body is now tan.
My body's ready.
Swiggity diggity.
Okay, want to get into it?
Yeah.
This episode 5. It was a busy weekend. Brain is fried. But I hear that John and Christina have been playing a lot of games to make up for my lack of gaming. So they're going to tell us all about that, and there's going to be lots of it. So let's just get right into it. Like, John, what have you been doing?
Well, I finally got off. Well, I'm ending my vacation. Finally arrived in Toronto. And last night, I finally sat down in front of my computer and I was like, all right, let's just play games all night. Just play games all night. And the first game I tried was called Nightmare Reaper. It's made by Blazing Bits Games. It's kind of like a retro I don't know how you would say this, 2.5D first-person shooter.
Oh, okay, 2.5D, yeah.
So the graphics are kind of like the first Wolfenstein, well, I guess for like Windows 95 and stuff. Like all the sprites and everything, like it's just more colorful, but it's cool. It's really fun at times.
Only at times.
I'm kind of making it sound like it's shit, but it's not. Like, how can I explain it? Like the whole point of the game is like you're this girl who's dealing with inner demons, and you're in like this psycho like asylum type stuff. So every time like you start the game, you do this tutorial mission, and then randomly you're in this like room, and then every time you complete a level, you go back to this room and you find this piece of paper on the table, and it kind of gives you the backstory of it. I wasn't really following it. Like I didn't really get too far into it, but so basically when you read that and you can like look around and all that stuff like that in the room, there's nothing really much to see. You just lay back down in your bed, and then I guess all of a sudden that's when she like goes back and tries to defeat the demons that she's trying to get rid of. And it's kind of like it's kind of hard to explain, but like it's like it just plays like Doom and Wolfenstein. Like it's
okay. So this is the second game you've played recently that has that kind of
yeah, it kind of reminded me a lot, like actually Project Warlock.
That's the one, Project Warlock.
Yeah, that's what got me to try this game out, because I was like, oh, if it plays exactly like Project Warlock, I'm completely in.
How'd you find it?
In like Steam. It was like a recommended thing because I played Project Warlock, so I put it on my wish list a while ago, and then it told me during my vacation, it was like, yeah, it's released early access and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll try it out. The game,
wait, early access as in it's free, or
no, it's like $18 right now, so you can just buy it. And I think there's like 18 levels or something like that for the early access, and then whenever they keep adding the levels, you'll be able to play it. But like the levels seem like they're randomly generated. Like I could be wrong on that, but throughout the game I noticed that I would get into these new areas, and then each room, there's certain rooms that I would go in and I was like, I just did this room like 2 levels ago. But then like all the sprites and everything are different. Like maybe the color in the room is completely different. And then I also noticed the cool thing about Nightmare Reaper is whenever you collect gold and stuff like that and you get experience, the only way you, like when you go to your skill tree to level up whatever you want, it's like a mini game. So think about like, you know, the map that you get in like Super Mario 3, where you like choose the levels and stuff. It's like just a map. It's literally that. And then whenever you click on the thing that you want to actually upgrade, you play this mini game where you're like a 2D character, and you're playing like Mario, where you're collecting all the coins in the level. There's these little small zombies that you can like jump on. You have to like get to the end of the level, and once you complete that level, that's when you are able to get that skill point or the skill that you want to upgrade.
Okay.
It's really, really weird. It's a cool concept for it, because like no one else has really done anything like that from what I remember, where you just like go to a skill tree, you just upgrade, and then that's it. This one you have to play a mini game, but then eventually you kind of get tired of it. You're like, oh man, like I don't want to do this mini game. I just want to upgrade it and then go from there.
It kind of sounds like the rune challenges from Doom. Like you can only get the runes, like the upgrades or whatever, right? They're like passive upgrades. You can only get them by doing a mini game. So is it the same thing? If you don't beat the mini game, then you don't get it? Yeah,
if you don't beat the mini game, then you restart. The thing is I'm not too sure if you lose. So let's say you want to get an upgrade, and it costs like 10,000 gold. And then if you lose during that mini game, I'm not too sure if you lose that gold and then you have to buy it again. I'm pretty sure you just keep the gold and you just keep on trying. I didn't really notice it, but I thought that was kind of cool. But then I got really tired of it. I was like, all right, because it kind of felt repetitive at times. But the weapons in that game are really cool. Like I thought Project Warlock's weapons like were good, and like they had a lot in there, but no, this game has a shitload of weapons. Like you can go from like using a pistol, and every gun you use has a secondary fire. So you can like have a pistol, then you can like the secondary fire is to turn on a silencer, which doesn't really do much in that game because there's no stealth or anything like that. And then there's like you can use a bazooka, like a rocket launcher, and then the secondary fire is like you just take the butt end of the rocket launcher and like use it as a melee weapon. And then like it goes even beyond what like actual firearms. You can like get like spell books, so you can have a book that just shoots like fire, or like you could freeze enemies and all that stuff. It's a really cool concept. Like almost every time you play a level, you get a completely new gun every time. There's also like the guns that you collect could be uncommon, rare, legendary, all that stuff. And then when you beat a level, you can only choose one gun that you want to actually keep for the next level, and then the rest of the guns that you've collected throughout the level will be sold for more gold. So then you can upgrade your shit.
Well, that's kind of cool. So it saves you the time of having to like go through a store system and like pick through what you want to sell and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. That's good for a guy like me who really doesn't like RPGs at all, and I don't like taking the time to
Yeah. Another thing too is like you can only hold two or three weapons at the same time. I was only able to hold 2 guns. So what you have to do is like if you collect, let's say like 6 guns in one level, and you want to like test all of them out, you would have to pause the game, go to your inventory, and choose up to 2 guns that you would want in your inventory to be able to use in game. So I thought that was kind of weird, because it was like arcadey. It's an arcadey like Wolfenstein, and Wolfenstein you can hold like you had 8 weapons. You can just scroll through them all and just be like, yep, I want to use this gun. But then this one you had to like pause the game and kind of like put the gun that you want into your inventory to be able to use. And so I thought it was kind of cool. And the soundtrack is friggin' heavy. It's so good. Like the soundtrack starts at perfect times. Like whenever you walk into a room and there's like the enemies, it's kind of like Doom. Like in Doom 2016, whenever like it's like that thumping going, and then like the heavy guitars and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'd like to listen to the whole OST for that. But yeah, that's about it for Nightmare Reaper. Like I've maybe put 2 hours into it. I really enjoyed it from what I've played. I might go back to it. Maybe I'll wait until like they update more for the early access. But yeah, you can find Nightmare Reaper on Steam for I believe $18 right now. So if you're interested, you can pick that up.
So would you say it's good money for the value right now? Good value for the money right now? That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, like I feel like that game is going to be
It'll go
updated
down
a
in
lot.
price.
Yeah, like I don't know if it'll go down in price during early access, but from what I've played, it's pretty cool. But like near the end, like whenever I like stopped playing it, I was like at the 2 hour mark. I was kind of feeling like tired of it because it was kind of repetitive, finding the same levels and all that stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. Like especially if you know if they look into the thoughts that other people are playing, being like, yeah, let's fix this, let's do this, let's do this. Like I think that game can be really, really good after early access. So it's just hope.
Right on. Sounds cool. That's actually sounds like something I'd check out while I'm waiting for Doom Eternal to come out.
I feel like it's a trend though right now. Everyone's trying to be retro, nostalgic, bring back the pixelation.
Most definitely,
so many
yeah.
games.
Yeah, like I've noticed that too, like with Project Warlock, and then this game Nightmare Reaper. But this Nightmare Reaper is more pixelated, I find. Like I don't know if it's.
I think it's overly pixelated. I actually thought it didn't look that great when I saw you playing it.
It's like if you took the original Doom, and then you just like turned up the contrast, and just like had really bright colors everywhere. It looks kind of gross.
The colors are awful. They're like the lighter version of each color.
Yeah, but like the colors look kind of gross, but at the same time, like there's certain areas in that game that look really good. So keep that in mind, Evan, when you play it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if
this
I'd drop
game-
$18 on it right away, but I'd look at videos of it at least.
If this game was out back when we were actually playing these games,
Oh my God.
100% we'd be playing it.
That game.
But right now, there's so many other things they've gone beyond that, like Strafe. They've done such a good job with that game.
Well, Strafe. Yeah, they updated that game a lot because I guess Strafe before, or whenever that first came out, I guess it had a lot of issues. I love Strafe. Strafe's an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
Strafe is kind of hit or miss for me. I don't know what it is about it. I think I like the.
Did you try it on PC?
Yeah, I did. I like the style they're trying to nail with it, but I think it's just kind of visually confused. Like there are some of the levels and stuff have more detail or less detail than the actual monsters do, and sometimes it clashes. I don't know what it is about it.
The thing about Strafe though too is like I put a lot of hours into that game, and like not too long ago. And the thing that it's supposed to be randomly generated at times, I believe, and just I don't know, just like doesn't hit that mark, doesn't hit that like that feeling of being like, all right, I'm gonna play this game. It's kind of like it's not like Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac, I can sit there and play for hours.
You're saying it just doesn't get stale.
Yeah, and like you can only choose like 3 weapons at the beginning, and then like I don't know how to explain Strafe. That's another game. It's another game to talk about in the future.
Because right now we can talk about the next game.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. Ever since last podcast, we were talking about Demolition Racer, which does exist, by the way.
Does it? Okay.
It actually exists.
Confirmed.
It's confirmed. Demolition Racer exists. It's on the PlayStation 1.
Check it out. Go to your local pawn shop. Pick up Demolition Racer.
Or just hack your own version.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably find an emulator on that, or a ROM.
Nobody on this podcast does anything illegal. None of us hack anything. No.
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about, Evan.
Not even John does it.
Nope. But the next game I tried out was Wreckfest. It was developed by Bugbear Studios, and that's the same creators that made Flatout, the Flatout series.
Man, such good memories of that game.
Not all of them. I think it was like Flatout 1, 2, and then Ultimate Carnage or something like that. But I was super excited to try this game. I finally got my hands on it. And I was not disappointed at all. It's such a fun racing game. It has, the feeling that that Flatout feeling, but at the same time it's kind of different, which is good because it's good for Bugbear, because like if they just did something that was just exactly like Flatout, I'd be like, all right, come on, like do something new. They like have been working. I remember at one point they were working on this game for a while, and they were doing like soft body damage for the cars and stuff. So like a lot of the damage that you see on the cars are more realistic and everything like that. And finally, when I played it, I was like, this is cool. This is so cool. When you're doing the derby and the cars smashing like behind you and your whole car just like, the damage just, it looks so good. And
So is this
yeah,
like how new is this? When was this?
I think this came out last year, only for PC, and then it's just recently coming out in August for the PS4 and Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I finally played it. The cars it feels realistic when you're playing, but it also feels arcadey at the same time. It kind of like Grid and Dirt, you know, like how they feel. They want to be like a simulator, but at the same time they want it to be fun.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see it like that. And then I only played against AI. I never tried online, but like the AI it's fun. Like some of them are really hostile towards you, and then the rest are just like the ones that are like behind you just are going off road and flipping and doing all that crazy shit, which is fine by me. Like,
how are the graphics in this game? Because I remember Flat Out when it came out was like pretty crisp. It looked pretty good for the time, I think, and it ran really well too.
Yeah, the graphics look really good, and it runs really well on my PC. I was actually kind of worried because I was like, man, this is probably going to take a lot out of my PC, but no, it was running 60 frames per second, no issues, no slowdowns. Like, it's perfect.
It was so weird. I remember Flat Out back in the day.
Oh man, that game is so good.
Like, it came out around the same time as Oblivion and stuff like that. Those games ran terribly on my PC, but Flat Out was like 60 FPS, no problem. It looked great. So good job on them for doing that.
Well, they also like, if you're thinking about Flat Out, you're thinking like crazy random shit that you can do in that game, and this game like still has that, and you could do like a demolition derby with lawnmowers. You can do like, I think you could like edit your own races, so they have like a bunch of different cars. You could do like a semi truck against like all these buggy cars and all that stuff like that. It's just it was really, really fun. Like, there's so much to do in that game. The racetracks seem kind of like they're good, but they're also generic. They have the classic like figure 8 racetrack, which I feel like doesn't kind of make sense in the career mode, because you do the figure 8 in half the time. When I was doing the figure 8 track, I never actually, whenever you go across the two, like the roads to see if anyone can crash, no one was there. And they only give you 3 laps during the career, so like it's done and over with. Every race is it's done in like, I don't know, 3 minutes, 5 minutes max. So like it's fun at the time, but like I kind of wish those tracks, like the smaller tracks, were actually longer and had more cars in it, so that when you do the figure 8 track, you can actually crash in whenever you're crossing over and stuff like that.
So what is the career mode? I can't imagine what that would be for a game like that.
So immediately when you go into the career mode, it's just like all these different types of races that you can do. So like you start as like juniors, then you go into amateur, and then like semi-pro or whatever, and then like pro. And you have to go through each act basically. And then junior, it shows off the demolition racing with the lawnmowers, and then you have to just be able to get a high score on it and also become first. Okay. And then each other one, like each level, is just basically like, yeah, you need this certain car to race in this track, and buy this car, do this, get first place. It's like a straightforward racing game.
Okay, so it's a focus on the racing, but it has the mechanics of a demolition game.
Demolition race, yeah.
How's the customization of cars though?
I tried it out last night, and so when you're actually upgrading your cars and stuff like that, each time you win a race, you get experience. Or like if you T-bone someone or just shunt them or whatever, you get experience points. And then every time you level up, you get a new unlock for your car for like the upgrades. So like better like body armor or car armor, better exhaust for your car and all that stuff. And then I believe you can customize the cars the way you want. I never really played around with it. I could be wrong on that, but I think with this game, like I don't think they really have you know, like how some games, like for Need for Speed, they have, you know, licensed cars, and like the damage and stuff you can't do, and then like the customization on them, you can't really play around with it too much. I think this game has it's higher. It's like you can do a lot with it, but I never really played around with it much.
I remember Flatout didn't have. Again, I don't know how similar this game is to Flatout, but Flatout didn't have much customization at all. You could pick between you could buy different cars, but then the cars are just what they are.
Yeah, like it had like the basic, you know, customization, like better.
Oh wait, no, you could, You could do like better engine and like turbo and stuff.
Yeah, like that's all in this game. Like it's that layout for upgrading your car body and all that stuff is the exact same as Flatout. Like exactly. I'm just like, okay, cool. Like I'm fine with that. Like there's a lot of like Flatout in this game, but at the same time, like it plays differently. I don't know.
It could be the same engine, and they just upgraded it over the years.
I don't know. It looks really good. Like it's a really fun game. I'll definitely put more hours into it. And then the last game I've been playing, just for last week, randomly, I was showing Christina the PlayStation Classic, and she's like, "Oh, like what's this game?" And it's Grandia, a really old RPG game developed by Game Arts, released in 1999. So I decided to play that for a bit and show Christina, you know, the gameplay and all that stuff.
Very famous game. I remember.
I actually really liked how it looked.
Yeah,
It looked very clean, and the artwork's great.
Yeah, like I got addicted to it again.
This is a really big one for people. That was a very popular one.
Grandia? Oh man, it's so
I
good.
actually had never heard of it.
Oh no?
And like John's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I never even heard.
Yeah, I remember one morning when I was younger, I woke up, I think like on a Saturday morning, and I went in the kitchen, and I used to when my mom would go to work, she would leave notes for me on like a paper towel, and so when I walked into the kitchen, there was like a paper towel laid out there, and it was a disc, like it was like Grandia. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I like read, and she's like, hope you have fun today. Here you go. And it's like, you got it for like dirt cheap at Walmart. They were selling it for dirt cheap. So I remember putting it in, and I had the hardest time playing it because at the time I had no idea like really how to play an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like making sure you have better armor and better weapons and stuff like that. So I never really got that far in it. But recently, now that I'm replaying it, I finally got past the part that I got stuck at when I was younger, and it was such a breeze to get by it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy how I had such a hard time.
I'm still not too much better at RPGs than I was when I was 6, and I'm glad that you got through it.
Yeah, it's good, man. Like you should just try Grandia. Like it's super old school. The graphics at the time like were pretty cool. Like it has the environments are depicted as like 3-dimensional maps, so like the whole like the city that you're in is 3D, but then your characters, like the characters that you see, the NPCs and all that stuff, are all like sprites, 2D sprites.
Yeah,
so kind of like Final Fantasy 3, all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And like the battle system is kind of like any other RPG back in the time. Like you go into this, you can like the cool thing about it is like turn-based. You could stand still and just you take turns, you know, battling each other. This one you can like move around in a battle arena and like move around the enemies and make sure like their attacks miss you if they do like a huge area magic spell or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like talk too much about Grandia because it's super old, but like
yeah, there isn't much news on that game, you know.
No, well,
20 years old actually.
There is news for it, and I'll let you know. They have been talking about remaking Grandia for a long ass time, and I think it was in this month they announced that they are still remaking the first one. So if anyone is out there waiting for Grandia to be remade, it is still in the works.
That doesn't surprise me that they give you that update, because this year would actually be, I mean, if 1999 is the 20th anniversary of that game.
Yeah.
Remastered or remaking?
I think they're remastering it. I think that's what it was. They're not remaking it like ground up. They're just doing
Well,
a
at this
remake
point,
of
they would
it.
have to
Or
remake it because it's not made for any modern platform. It doesn't even have like 3D. Well, it would, but
yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested. I'd be willing to see what it's like. But yeah, the game's great. It's so funny how I just want to show Christina like just show her the game, and be like, yeah, this is what I used to play back in the day, and now I'm already like 7-8 hours into the game, and I'm further than I was playing it when I was 6 years old, and I'm loving it, and I'm planning on beating it.
don't you love that? How games just get easier as you get older, and then you go back and try them, and you're like, oh yeah, this how was I not able to figure this out?
Half the time is the reverse, though. They're way too hard.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But like, there was one boss I remember when I was younger playing, and it was like super hard. And like when I played it last night a bit, I finally got to that boss, and I died immediately. And I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. I'm gonna instantly stop playing this game, and then I just played it again and beat him. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm further. But yeah, Grandia, it's a great game. Check it out if you've never played, and if you're really into RPG games.
Turn-based RPG.
Yeah,
turn-based. Probably an important distinction these days, because back then they didn't have that.
I personally don't like them, so that's why I don't know if I would like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. You should try it. You should try it, Christina.
Yeah, maybe. It does look good though.
I probably won't, but yeah, you guys have fun with that.
I'll give you an update whenever I beat it. I'll let you know.
Okay. Just tell us the whole story. Because that's the only reason I would play a turn-based RPG, I think.
Yeah, I will.
John played a lot of just random games this week.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Seems like it.
I loved it. I wanted to play all those games, and I finally did. Especially after a week of not playing any games.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's the worst.
Hey, Christina.
Yes. So, the long-awaited game that I've been wanting to test out has finally came out with their public tech test, and it's Gears 5. So just started this Friday, July 19th till Monday the 22nd, and then they're doing a second one July 26th to the 29th. So essentially they only are letting players who have Xbox Game Pass, either PC or Xbox, and also people that have pre-ordered the game to play it. So it's not totally to the public. And they also are, like, I guess this weekend they're only letting you play versus multiplayer, and then next weekend I believe it might be campaign, or they'll be letting you play the new multiplayer mode Escape. I'm not too sure about that, but for now I've played maybe roughly like 12 hours of the tech test this weekend. And from what I've played, there's only 2 maps. There's a district map, which is kind of like a city, kind of like looks more like Chinatown area, very grungy. And then there's another map called Trading Grounds, essentially just a plain, exactly what it says, trading ground map, which I actually liked better, and John liked the district.
Oh, I love the district, probably because that's the level that I just was dominating in. I was just killing everyone.
So what you can play is a game mode called Arcade, which is new for Gears, only with team deathmatch. But what they did with this new game mode, they wanted to have their classic cover elements and close-up gameplay, just so to let new players to the franchise kind of like ease them into something that's very approachable. Because like from what they've been critiqued, like Call of Duty, like you don't really need to sneak around, hide, cover all the time. Well, I mean, it would be good to do that, but it's mostly like fast gameplay. And Gears is a little bit different, where you're constantly covering, you're working as a team, sliding around, pretty much running with your head down half the time. So they just kind of want something more fun. And of course, they did bring back their classic characters. So if on the COG team, you have Marcus, Kate, a couple of the other people on the team. Then you're also able to play as the Locust. So it's basically Locust team versus COG.
Was it like that in the other Gears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see them changing that.
No.
But another new thing I noticed, they set you through a boot camp So at the start of the
Oh,
game,
yeah.
it's like a training session, which they call boot camp, and you can also replay that any time. And it just takes you through literally every single thing that you need to do, like how to melee, show the new finishing moves, how to shoot, how to those classic
Just the
training
basic stuff. Yeah.
which they've never done before. And it's kind of cool because for me, it was the first time I played it on PC, so that was actually kind of helpful because I've only really played it on console. And then they said they are going to be releasing their other modes, King of the Hill and Escalation. So I don't know if that's going to be next weekend, but we'll see.
What was Escalation again? Do you know?
Yeah, so basically, what is it? Yeah, so it has limited respawns. They have overhauled weapon systems. Basically, it's more competitive. It's not for people that are just starting out the game. And you really have to work as a team. So it's mostly people that are probably in clans and stuff like that play daily. But for the one that I played, the arcade mode, it was really interesting. So the kills and bounties that you earn, so all the kill streaks, will help you gain skulls, which you can redeem in-game while you're playing for new weapons. So you can have upgraded weapon trees. So what I used a lot was a long shot. So when I ran out of Lancer ammo, so mostly, like, honestly, most of the weapons that you start off with, you should pick the Lancer. Lancer has their classic close-up chainsaw kill, which is another option to meleeing. And then what else can you get? I think it was like kind of like a scout rifle. It's like the M something. That's also good to have. And then they had like random weapons, heavy weapons that you can get. Their classic drop shot, overkill.
I got a huge minigun at one point.
Yeah, you can get like light rifles. You can get pretty much everything they had in Gears before. The only new thing I noticed was they have new elemental grenades. So they had like a cryo one, which is really cool, and a cryo weapon where you can like ice someone from like half the map. That was pretty cool. Like I played for 12 hours. That's the only new thing I saw. So it's kind of a little worrisome. But all their classic weapons are back. Retro Lancer, the Ganasher, the... What am I missing, babe?
So the one there's like different like grenades.
Oh, snap.
Well, you already mentioned the grenades.
Yeah.
But like the one thing I noticed, Evan, about this, like whenever I started playing today with Christina, because like whenever I just noticed it was like versus, I was like, okay, I'm out. I don't want to play Gears. I've played Gears multiplayer before. I'm not a big fan of it. And when I finally joined Christina playing it, I was like, the first thing I noticed was that the enemies are not spongy. You know, like when you like well, I don't know if you played the other Gears, Evan, but like
I played the first one, so I'm trying to really make a comparison here.
You'd like shoot an enemy like constantly, and just like they were just like sponges. They would just like collect all your bullets, like almost your whole clip, and then they wouldn't die most times. Like it would just be so annoying, and I hated that feeling. But then when I finally played the tech demo or the tech test for Gears 5, the first thing I noticed was that it was actually easier to kill other enemies like in multiplayer. I was like, this is sick. And like headshots would take them out faster, obviously.
I think they added aim assist, to be honest, because I noticed when you aim, like when you lock on the target, it like locks for you a bit and kind of aims you towards the head.
Oh, really?
That's what I feel like. I feel like doing headshots now and even with like ARs or whatever, it's a lot easier.
You might be able to turn that off. A lot of games have a feature where it takes off the auto.
I haven't looked, but yeah, I should take a look because that's why I noticed. That's why it's so smooth, maybe? I don't know.
Well, the first thing they recommend doing in that game is playing with a controller. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'm playing on PC. I'm playing keyboard mouse. I'm going to just dominate with keyboard mouse.
I actually prefer it on PC.
But another thing that it's another con for Gears 5, but the one thing I hate most is when you're doing the sprinting to go to cover, and while you're sprinting, you can't use your mouse to look around. It's locked. So whenever you're sprinting, it's just locked straight.
Because you need to use your mouse to guide you as well.
I hate it because I'm always trying to look around to see if enemies are like on the right or on the left. So most times when I finally get into the behind cover, someone's on my left, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like-
but that's what makes it exciting. It's thrilling.
Yeah.
Oh, so the
yeah.
sprint
All
is
the
like a
time,
charge.
I
The
love
it.
mouse will be for aiming your
Yeah.
sprint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. It makes you think more. I find Gears 5 multiplayer is always very strategic. Like, you really need to know the map, you really need to know your surroundings, constantly on alert. I love it. Another thing they added too was they've had, like, you can melee someone and they go down, and then you can kick them and then they die. But now, instead of just kicking them, you can actually unlock new finishing moves.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And they have finishing moves not only for meleeing, but for whatever weapon that you have in your hand, you can use that to kill them.
Yeah,
So
you can, like-
from what I've experienced, like you can do a snub pistol finishing move, you can do a lancer one. Yeah, every weapon pretty much.
Yeah, you can like grab someone like from behind, like around their neck, and just like pull their head like back until it explodes. It's really fucking gruesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
alright, cool.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool concept. And like another thing you could do with those, and I've never done it in multiplayer because I just find it, I never actually thought about doing it, was if you're behind cover and someone is behind the same cover that you're on the other side, you can actually do like, you could like pull them over and do a melee like finisher on them without them even knowing. But I've never done that. I don't know if you've done that, Christina.
Yeah, you did it in the last game. But another thing I noticed was after you die, the person can pick your dead body up and use it as a human shield. Like before, you'd still be alive, and like someone could shoot them and then you could free off. But this time you can actually use a dead body to use a shield and then shoot people.
Oh really? So
once you've downed an enemy and then you've finished killing them, so technically you're dead. So you're waiting to respawn. You can see them like carrying your body, using you as a shield.
Oh really? I thought it was just from like the down, like whenever you get down they can like pick your body up.
No, I
Oh.
think you can pick up, or maybe I don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
what I noticed. But
I've never
also
done
another
it, so.
thing, still they have ammo around the map. And another thing I noticed, like it's the respawns. The respawns are so long. It's like
Really?
over 10 seconds.
Well,
You
did
watch like the
Ooh.
kill cam. So
It's kind of a
the
game
person that
changer for
kills
me.
you.
I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, 10-second respawn's a bit much. And then they did add more reward achievements, so more free stuff. They also announced that they will not have a season pass or gear packs, and
Yeah, that's
all new
cool.
maps are free. So like they took the Halo approach, which is amazing.
With no microtransactions?
Whoa.
Okay, maybe
No.
not that far there.
They
anyway.
need to
Yeah.
make money. We've already talked about this.
So
like-
what I noticed, so you know the finishing moves that I mentioned earlier, I have a feeling you could microtransaction buying some of those finishing moves.
Either that or like cosmetics.
Yeah, cosmetics.
Definitely
too.
cosmetics, especially for gears. You can have like a pink gun with like flowers on it. Yeah, everyone will buy
But
it.
when they say they're not gonna have a season pass, like, are they saying even like DLC campaign is free? Or what-
Yeah, like if they're saying season pass, that means like all the new maps that they're making, the weapon, if they add new weapons, the expansions for single player, if they are doing that, like that's all going to be free. There's no season pass whatsoever, no purchasing for the expansions. I think
Pretty
that's
sweet.
what I'm guessing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a lot. I feel like a lot of games are doing that. I think the new Call of Duty is doing that.
Yeah, with this
Gears.
new like negative outlook on buying new content and DLC, like it's good.
100%.
Because like a game that's really into doing like, well, not free shit, but Rainbow Six Siege, every season that they do is like $60 or whatever. Like if you buy that game now, it's ridiculous how much money you have to spend to like get the full package of each thing, that because like they have so many characters in that game now where like you can just get the basic, and like Evan, like you and I have the basic version of it for PS4, but like if we wanted to actually play with all the other characters and stuff that other people are playing as, like we would have to dish out a shitload of money if we want the full collection,
Mhm.
which is just kind of annoying. But that's going off topic, sorry, Christina.
But that's digital contact. But for Gears 5, not a lot of people are gonna buy the physical game because it's on Game Pass. Like,
That's true.
it's First day
That's-
release.
that's another
I won't be
thing-
buying it. It'll just be on Game Pass.
That's another thing that's tricky now, is with Game Pass, all the exclusives for Xbox are automatically onto onto the Game Pass. So I want to know how much, like, because obviously you're going to have a lot of people buying the physical copy, because some people want just the physical copy, or some people just don't want to dish out the monthly purchase of the Game Pass because they're like, well, I just want Gears 5. But for us, like, or for the other people who have like the Game Pass, I want to know how much money they will lose from that, or if they're going to do something completely different.
I don't think
because of Game
Microsoft
Pass.
cares. They just want to be more competitive at this point than PlayStation, and they are feeding out a lot of good content on the Game Pass, so they want to keep it going.
Oh, I love the Game Pass. I still have it for the PC. It's cool. I got the Void Bastards on it and everything. And like Christine and I were checking out the games that they released on Game Pass just recently, and they have like Shadow of War, like the Shadow of Mordor.
Dead Rising
sequel.
4. Yeah, they had a lot. But also, you know who else is killing it? Epic Store is doing great.
No.
Limbo, Lighter. They're adding great free games.
Yeah, but we just got Moonlighter from Humble Monthly.
I know, but like they're doing good. They just need to update their whole display of the store, and they'll be good.
No, okay.
All right, moving on. So I went on the John train and played a random game this week.
What? You're saying that I just played random games and you're just playing a random game? What is this?
So last week we were on vacation and I stumbled upon this game called Earthfall. Had literally no idea what it was. Just looked like another action RPG game. Popped it in. Instantly loved it. It's basically an action game very similar to Left 4 Dead and recently World War Z. It's broken up into 2 different game modes, invasion or campaign. And the campaign's either solo with bots, which I played, and then online multiplayer. I heard a lot. So before I played it, I kind of looked it up and it got very low reviews, like 50s, I think, from almost every gaming article. But so I was like, I don't know if I want to like try out both, so I'll just play the campaign and I'll play by myself because I didn't want to go online. Also, they said online there's probably like no one on the servers.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I started with the first chapter. So there's 5 chapters in the campaign. Kind of similar to World War Z. So if you only want to play one specific area of the campaign, you can do that. In each chapter, it took me a few tries. I actually died a lot towards the end chapters. The bosses were very difficult as well, solo. So I do recommend playing with someone online, just to help you out. And the concept of this game, instead of zombies, working as a team to kill zombies through the different areas, you're actually going against aliens. So aliens are invading Earth. Working as a team to do specific objectives, killing all these aliens. Instantly, I loved every single alien that they had in this game. All of them looked very interesting. All of them did different things. Like some of them did a lot of poison damage. There's one enemy that was very huge. Kind of looked like some of the villains in Doom, who breathe fire and like kind of throw like balls of fire at you as well. The bosses do take quite a bit of time. There's one boss that's called the Python that would actually have a huge shield, so you'd have to continuously follow it while it respawns in different areas, like every couple seconds. Some of them had shock damage, so it's like very
like
integrated. Yeah, lots of variety. Also, it had a lot of similar mechanics as World War Z with the defense barriers. So they had
that's cool.
Barricades, auto turrets, but they're all stuff that you find on the ground. You don't have to go looking for them. Usually when there's a huge boss wave, everything's there for you around the map. And those barricades actually do respawn as well. Because what the aliens can do, so say you set up a barricade throughout the house or the barn or wherever you are, they can damage them and then they'll respawn and you can pick them up again. One thing I was saying that's what makes it difficult is if you're solo, the bots actually won't set up any defense barriers, which to me doesn't make any sense. But they do steal your med kits, which I was super pissed about.
Well, isn't that like World War Z? playing against the bots?
Yeah, they don't set up anything. So half the time you're getting ready for the boss wave and they've already hit you and you haven't even set up like a quarter of what you need to do.
Yeah.
So then you're like battling, trying to kill them, trying to set up barricades. So it is harder difficulty. I noticed even harder than World War Z and Left 4 Dead.
Maybe that's why
For
I got
that
worse
reason.
reviews.
Probably. And also I found like the shooting, maybe that's more realistic, but the aiming is super off.
It's a good delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. Changing guns is very laggy. Even like this huge stamina bar. Like your stamina is probably like 2 seconds. So you're constantly like slow walking while trying to change guns, while trying to set up barriers. It needs a lot of work.
Maybe,
And for
maybe
that
you just
reason
play as an
also-
obese person.
Also lacks a lot of innovation. It's not thrilling. Like I would play one chapter like twice. If I died, I'm kind of like, I don't want to play this again. I'll pick it up later. The story, there's not really a story. There's literally no story. It kind of reminded me of World War Z. Like there's nothing really going on there. Voice acting is really poor. I think it's more of like a game for the people that wanted Left 4 Dead 3 since that wasn't released.
Oof. That's going pretty high right now.
Because, like, I don't know. If they do listen to the fans, like, there's a lot of people that did like it for that reason because it's very similar to Left 4 Dead. So if there's a second game, maybe they'll greatly improve it, learn from World War Z. Who knows? I don't know. I've never heard of this game, so I feel like not a lot of people have played it.
Well, you're brave for trying it.
Yeah, like from what I saw you playing, like when you were playing it a couple nights ago, like seemed pretty cool. I did notice like all the issues that you were talking, like especially the aiming and the sprinting and stuff like that. It's a game I would try out for sure.
I think they need to add, like they have weapon trees, but I think they need to add like your character customization, like maybe upgrade your agility so you can actually run faster. Like I feel like there's no like progression in that game whatsoever. Like you start off with this, you find, by the way, you start off with a really crappy like pistol and you have to like go find other weapons around the map like World War Z. But then you can't upgrade from there. Like you can't do anything. There's no character progression. They just need to work on it pretty much. But if you want something just to like lose the time and you were missing Left 4 Dead, you can just play that, give that a try. It's on I think all platforms, Xbox, PS4, PC.
Is it for PS4?
Reasonable price too, I think 25.
So for some reason, the whole time you're talking about this game, I'm just thinking of Earth Defense Force, and I'm imagining it as being Earth Defense Force.
It probably is similar. I haven't played that one.
Earth Defense Force is you going against, it's a third-person shooter, Christina, and you go against gigantic, like
Ants.
humongous ants and like robots.
It's just a cheesy like wave battle game. The waves get insanely huge.
Is
and
Paul Rudd there?
All right.
Yes.
Oh, probably yeah.
Christina, we got an Earth Defense Force during one of the Humble Monthlies.
Oh yeah,
So-
it came with like 20 DLC expansions.
Yeah. Like,
Mm.
I would definitely want to try Earthfall. The best thing I don't even know if they are updating the game still. Like that's what they would have to do is just update the game and release it on Game Pass.
When did it come out?
That's a good
Earthfall?
question.
Mhm.
July 13th last year, so a year ago.
Oh, so it's okay. So it's new and it's already tanking. Sounds like.
Well, I think they probably just didn't have enough money, to be honest. I don't know.
It looks like a type of game where they didn't have a lot of money. Like it's
They did good. Like it's very different at the same time. It's very similar. They can go a long way with it if they definitely change a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And I think if they get more hype on it, like someone listens to this, play Earthfall.
No, what they really need to do is just Pass.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
I will most definitely try it on Game Pass. Like most now with Game Pass, I just tried random games. Like I don't remember the game that Christina, you might remember it, but remember that one random sprite game that we were playing? It was like You're like a bunny, and you could like attack.
River Bond, right? Kind of like Minecraft, Diablo-esque.
Yeah, like we
I
went.
actually was enjoying that.
Yeah, we went to play that game together, but they only had LAN or couch co-op. So,
Oh,
but yeah, put it on Game Pass. More people will see it. They'll play it. Give it a shot.
What I'm excited to hear is how Evan did with John's game pick.
Oh yeah, Evan, how'd that go?
yeah. So last week, John thought it'd be a good idea to suggest a game for me to play because I've been lacking on the game playing thing lately. You know, good thing this week you guys have tons to talk about. So I played Manhunt 2.
Yeah, best game in the world.
Yeah, John says it's the best game in the world. I remember playing.
No, I'm asking you, is it the best game in the world?
Oh, well, like, from what I played, I didn't play very much of it. I played the first level to get a good taste of it, and then I played a little bit of the second level. But
That's it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
You got farther than I thought you would.
It's been a busy weekend.
With lights out or?
No, actually.
Yeah, you should have done it with.
It was too bright in the room. I did it like most of it today, and I feel like I should have set the mood properly for it. You know, like put headphones on and do that. I'd like to do that again and then get a better sense of it. But so far, comparing it to the first Manhunt, which I didn't really enjoy, to be honest, I was going through it and I just found it way too hard and way too repetitive. But so far in playing the Manhunt 2, it's already like a whole bunch different. Like I like the mechanic where you actually get to use your mouse, because playing on PC, you get to use your mouse to like move the different directions, so it feels like you're, for example, stabbing or swinging a weapon and stuff like that. It's also really gory, like really gory. With the finishers and the executions in this game are like, they're like next level.
So
like,
you played it on
what?
Sorry, you played on PC, right?
I played on PC, yeah.
Yeah. So the PC version that you're playing right now is the uncensored version. So if you played it on like PS2 or PSP or whatever consoles that it came out on, they had to censor most of the kills and stuff. So they like put this really weird like blurry I don't even know how to explain it, but during the executions
filter or something.
Yeah, it was like a weird filter, and it would like every time you like hit someone with a weapon, it would like blur out and all that stuff. And then obviously with like if you're playing on PS2, like you never had the ability to like when you're stabbing someone on PC, you're able to use the mouse and like basically move your mouse like you're stabbing.
Yeah.
And then but the PS2 is just a quick execution and that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty. Being able to control the stabs and stuff and the swings makes it a little more gruesome. But one thing I found was that I wasn't able to really at the same time look for the quick time events. Like it's like, oh, it'll slow down for a second when you're about to swing at somebody. It'll say move the mouse left or whatever. I find that part kind of takes away from you being able to see, like looking down at the execution kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe once I play through a little bit more, I'll get used to actually not having to look at those. Like I'll get used to the executions and just remember the patterns and stuff.
Yeah, like most times, like each level, you get random, like different weapons. So like each execution. So like if you hold down the execution button, it turns white, yellow, red, and each execution is completely different. And then you didn't get that far, but the cool thing about Manhunt 2 is you can actually do executions with guns in this one. So in Manhunt 1, it was just you use the gun to like shoot people, whatever. And then in this one, you can actually sneak around with a shotgun or a pistol and execute them by sneaking behind them. But then at the same time, when you do an execution, it does the noise. Like if you shoot someone with a shotgun during the execution, everyone else in that room will actually obviously hear you. Yeah. So then they'll be suspicious and they'll come and try to find you.
One thing that bothered me too, though, is that I find the walking too slow. Like
it's clunky.
Between like the sneaking is extremely slow. Like you'd never have to go that slow, I think, for any reason. Yeah. And the walking is like just a little too slow, and then the sprinting is hardcore.
Did you do any of the executions, like the special executions that you could find, like
the environment ones? No.
Oh really?
Oh man, I didn't get to see one of those. But I got a chance to try out, I think, all 3 levels for a couple of weapons.
Yeah, it's cool. You should just keep on playing it, Evan.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll give it a couple more levels and then probably play it at least to the point where I have a gun, and then see how that goes. Because Manhunt didn't have that, right? I think that.
They
had a nail gun, I think.
Well, they had guns, but it basically whenever you would play levels. So in Manhunt 1, you'd play like 3 levels and it was all stealth, and then randomly there was one level where it was just all gunfight. So you would hide behind cover and shoot all these guys and move on to like from point A to point B.
And that's a pretty cool progression, actually.
Yeah, it's a cool concept. And then they kind of slowly mixed in both at the same time. So you would, be able to stealth completely through a level, or you would be able to just run and gun if you could in that game because it's so clunky. But yeah, just play that whole game. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll give it more of a chance. Because so far it's already better than Manhunt 1. Like they've improved on a lot. It feels better for sure. Just the only thing is the movement. But I'm expecting that they probably made it like that for a reason. So maybe you'll run across levels that you do have to move slowly. But I guess we'll see.
The cool thing about the game mechanics for like Manhunt and all that stuff, like back in the day whenever they were making like GTAs and like Manhunt and Bully and all that stuff, like every new mechanic they would add in certain games, they would add that mechanic into the next game. So like for example, the aiming in GTA 3 and Vice City, where you would just auto lock onto someone and then you would just stand still and shoot. I think they fixed that in the first Manhunt, where you can like aim and like move around and stuff like that, and like it seemed more fluent. And then they started adding that into like every GTA game and all that stuff. And then like the fighting mechanics in the Warriors, and they added that into different games. Like the stealth mechanics from Manhunt, they added that into GTA San Andreas. It's just cool how they they make these new mechanics and then they just slowly add that into the other games. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Manhunt 2, and then in the early 2000s or
2008 was Manhunt 2 actually.
Yeah, that game went through a rough time.
Yeah,
because Manhunt 1.
I appreciate Manhunt 2 though, because like it's not often you get to experience something that really pushes the boundaries of like what the public can handle as far as like offensive content.
What's really crazy about Manhunt 2? They released that game on the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah, and then I remember hearing about that, and all the executions and stuff, you're actually like, feels like you're holding a knife with the Wiimote.
Yeah. Nintendo Wii.
I wonder how much a copy of that would be, because I haven't.
I think it goes for like $15. I saw that at one of our the game shops that we go to. It's not a lot.
I wouldn't want it for the Wii U.
No, it's not for the Wii U. It's for the Wii.
Regular Wii.
Oh, for the Wii.
Yeah, even older. It's worth it.
Okay, I think that just about wraps up for everything for today. I didn't have a lot to talk about myself because I had the Manhunt 2,
Oh, I have to give you another game to play.
Oh.
Yep. This is next week's pick.
Next week's pick. It's going to be Hellblade.
Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice?
Free one that we recently got.
Right. Okay, yes, on Humble Bundle. That's right, I do have to give that a try.
In the dark.
Yeah, in the dark, set the mood. Just every day play like an hour each day.
Get your blackout curtains ready.
Yeah, blindfolds so you don't know what you're doing.
Get your hot cocoa with marshmallow.
Hey, have a beer also with the hot cocoa.
With your hot cocoa,
Just funnel a beer right before you start playing, and then funnel a beer during the game.
Sounds perfect. That sounds like my kind of gaming session. All right, everybody. So next week you'll be hearing more about Hellblade, as well as all the other games I've been playing, and any news we may have. But for now, that wraps up episode 5 of the Plus 3 podcast, and we will see you next week.